When did you know this was going to happen? When did you know in your gut?
I would probably say I was hired, I guess, 5 days ago, so I would imagine 9 days ago, something like that. I just felt like when you started hearing more and more about it, then I had to start doing my homework. And you know, these always emotional decisions, but I felt like this was the right decision. Again, prayed about it, and hopefully this is my last decision.
Cuonzo, what's your relationship with the Porter family?
Well, per NCAA rules, I can't talk recruiting, so if you want to ask another question,
What about Michael Porter Sr.? How well do you know him?
The one thing I would try to do is, out of respect to everybody, not trying to be evasive, but out of respect to the current guys as coaches and also my guys, I want to be careful there. But knowing him, he was a coach at Washington, so I do know who he is, yes.
Do you have any agreements with either guys at Cal, that you know are coming with you, or is that all in the future?
Well, agreements, those guys are part of my staff, so
right.
The ones that want to come, we talk about that. But again, some of those guys are trying to get head coaches if they can get head coaching jobs. So we're looking at all those things right now, but really hadn't spent a lot of time on it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it would mean for the Columbia community to have the Porter family come back?
I think the Columbia community wants to be successful.
Let's talk about recruiting in St. Louis. What has to be done right away?
We have to work. I just think in recruiting, period, you have to work. Now, I have a lot of great relationships in St. Louis, but it's still work. Nobody's going to give you anything. You have to work hard. You have to build relationships. And I have great relationships, but it's one day at a time, and it never stops.
I know you said you don't concern yourself with what happened before you were here, but given the struggles of the last 3 years, how much did you have to look into what happened, why they've been down?
Oh, you have to do your homework. Now, again, I've watched Mizzou because I was in this league and because I grew up in this area. Again, I grew up on the St. Louis side, so I've seen it. Had buddies go here, went to school here. My cousin graduated from this, so I've seen it. Just as a fan, you watch basketball. But to be specific, it's hard to answer that because I hadn't sat down and watched film. And I don't know the makeup of the young men, so it's hard for me to answer exactly what took place.
So this has not been a destination job for the last 3 or 4 guys here. Why is it for you?
I think it's a great place. I think when you talk destination jobs, you have facilities, resources, fan base, a great state, great league. I think when you talk about all those things, and that's a destination for me. And I think you have the resources, you have the academic resource, you have the community that wants to get involved. And I think with all those things, that means you have a chance to be very successful.
You mentioned Melvin Booker.
Yes.
Can you describe your friendship? Where did you first meet?
Well, obviously, we played against each other in college when he was here, but Melvin and I played in the CBA. We developed a close relationship. We played in the CBA together in Grand Rapids, Michigan, so that's where we started our relationship. We'd had a relationship ever since.
Were you texting or calling about the Mizzou job when you got it?
Well, he texted me when I got the job, but before, no, because again, out of respect for everybody.
I just meant more of just like once you got the coaching job.
He texted me out, yes.
With so many people obviously nearby that and family and everything, who was your first call after everything was done?
Oh, my mom, of course. That goes without saying. It just because again, my wife and I, we made a decision and we felt like this was it for us. But my mom, but I wanted to be right when I made that call because I know how she would feel if I'm coming home. But she wanted to be what was best for me. And she was so happy when she found out I was coming home.
And they still live, mom and sister still live?
Oh, yeah. My mom works for American Airlines in St. Louis. I think it's still American Airlines. She's actually here in attendance, yes.
Yeah. Your 2015 class at Cal, one service had second in the country. Why do you think you've been successful at recruiting?
Obviously blessed, but working hard, building relationships. Recruiting is about relationships. You can have great resources, great facilities, that's one thing, but if you don't have the great relationships, it doesn't work. And I think all those things combined, but the other part is you can't take for granted. You got to do it with a level of integrity. And I think that is the hard part. You have to do it with a level of integrity and do it the right way. And oftentimes people get discouraged when it happens, but you got to stay the course and do it the right way.
Nate Shear said today on the radio that there was a game he played at almost midnight at Kent State, and you were the only coach and basically the only person in the gym.
Tournament. Yeah, it was a tournament. It was LeBron James tournament. Great kid, was a man now. He was a part of that championship team in Missouri State. But that's what it's about. You have to work hard. It's not so much as the best player, this guy, that guy. It's about what fits your program. Because the bottom line with a program is every day, it's every year. It's not just a one hit. It's consistency across the board.
How has cancer shaped your coaching career in life?
I like to think before I was diagnosed with cancer, I wasn't a bad person. I like to think that. But I think for me, it puts all this in perspective. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm not one of those guys that take this for granted like you owe me something. I have a job to do here. I have an obligation not only to this team, but to this university and also to these fans to do everything in my power to make this program successful. But I think with camps, it just made me understand there's a big picture than just when I'm sitting there getting upset about a loss. There's something bigger than that.
Coach, did you have any other
scheduling? I mean, you were a mid-major once. How tough it is. What about getting some 18 years since the Bears been up here, huh?
I don't know about. I've never had a problem with scheduling teams. I don't know about Missouri State because of my relationship with Paul. Unless Paul hit me across the head and say we have to do it, then I'll do it. But because of my relationships with him, but I never have a problem because I know how hard it is. We were trying to get games when I was at Missouri State, but if it's right, we'll make it work.
He was happy to hear that you guys.
Yeah, that's my guy. Man, Paul and I go way back.
Not much choice whether you scheduled Tennessee or not. Any thoughts about making a return trip down to Knoxville?
Just a job. I look at them all the same in the league. And they do everything on power to win the game.
Cuonzo, did you have any other job offers during this process?
This is the one for me.
And did you hear any interest from other places that you talked to?
This is it. This is the one for me. I mean, again, grateful for everything that's been presented my way, but I felt like this is the one.
How many scholarships do you think you have here? You're not certain, or?
I think between 1 and 3. Not 100% sure.
And can you believe you can salvage something here late?
It's part of my job to make it work. Again, the right pieces, and even with our current, I hadn't met with our current players. I mean, some of those guys might say, well, Coach, I don't know, this is not fit for me. So I don't know that part. We'll find out here in the next couple of days.
Cuonzo, how much a part of your discussions with whether it was Jim or Chancellor Foley had to do with the academic stuff that's going on and any potential investigations?
I talked about it. Again, but now, to give them credit, they presented all that information. So it wasn't a case that they were hiding information. I respect and I applaud that because they presented everything, and it was my decision making that. Again, stuff happens. Stuff goes on at every university. So you have to deal with it and move forward. Figure out the best way to make it work. And I thought Mizzou has done a great job with all the information and getting on the forefront of it.
Have you